That is not the only shocking thing about it. The head is shown quite large, and you can examine the features in detail. The forehead is average, the wrinkles on the forehead average, the eyebrows also average, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the chin. The face is not merely devoid of expression, it fails to leave a memory. It has no individuality. I have to only shut my eyes after looking at it to forget the face. Hello guys, welcome back to Duck Reads, and today I will be reviewing the book Osamu Dazai's No Longer Human. I haven't actually paid any attention to Japanese literature for the longest time. Other than Murakami, I don't think I have read any other pieces, but lately I have started on exploring Japanese literature even more. No Longer Human is considered as a masterpiece in the Japanese literature, and that is for a reason, because the way Dazai explores the mental conflicts of the protagonist, Yozo, that's an interesting take on understanding the human nature in general. But the reader should be warned, because there's a lot of mature themes that's being dealt in this book, especially substance abuse, harassment, and other mature themes such as suicide. So if you are a sensitive reader, then I would highly recommend that you shouldn't be reading the book. But other than that, if you do like to read about human nature in general, I think this is an amazing book. I would give it a 4-star out of 5. There are some things that I didn't like about the writing. I will talk about how the book is structured. So the book is structured with a prologue in the beginning, and then 3 notebooks in the middle, and at last it ends with an epilogue. So the prologue is narrated from first-person perspective of an unknown narrator who supposedly is going to be writing and publishing the next 3 notebooks, which 3 notebooks will be dealing with Yozo's life. This is an extremely nihilistic book. Yozo is a person who is totally afraid of the society, and he hates human beings, so he's a misanthrope in that sense, and he doesn't want to make any sorts of friends. In the prologue, the writer talks about 3 pictures that he comes across. The writer himself feels like, no, this is not something that a human being looks like. There is something so sinister about these pictures, because in the first one, even though if it was a baby, there was something ugly about that baby. And then when this kid is grown up to his teens, though he is handsome, he lacks something that should have been human. And he uses some interesting words to describe that, such as heaviness of blood or solidity of human life. That's the stuff that Yozo is lacking. And in the 3rd picture, the writer says about how everything about that picture is wrong, because you cannot distinguish the age of that person, nor the way he smiles. Nothing could be distinguished, and it's about in a dirty room, and if you close your eyes, you can imagine the dirty room of which the picture was taken, but not the face, because the face lacked so much of individuality that it was difficult to even remember that face, because that is not the face of a human being. That's kind of the way the story starts, so you can understand where this is getting at. In the first notebooks, Yozo reasons out why he feels like that he is not qualified as a human being. This really puts you in the perspective of, why does Yozo think that way about himself, right? But it also makes you question about yourself. Are you qualified as a human being? Do you feel all these things? Because most of the time we do face a mental dilemma in ourselves when we don't feel so happy as we are supposed to feel. But Yozo feels it to the extremes, because he doesn't know how to deal with his emotions. He doesn't even know if he has any emotion. Some of the interesting themes I found here was Yozo's idea of religion. Yozo also feels like there is some absurdity in having fixed meal times, and that is something that normal human beings would be doing, and that's something that he doesn't want to do. He doesn't want to follow such rules because he never feels hungry. He does eat, but it's not because he actually feels any sort of hunger. He just eats because that's what human beings do. And throughout the book, you can see how Yozo is really afraid of someone seeing through his mask. He portrays himself into the society as someone who is a clown, like a fun young person. That's all he is to the society. And it makes you think so much, because there are so many people that are living between us, and how many of them would be feeling this same way? How many of the people are just putting on a mask, using humor as a coping mechanism, and you're not even seeing what they're struggling with? In the second notebook, Yozo meets a guy named Horiki, who Yozo thinks is a mirror of himself. Horiki too cannot be qualified as a human being. The difference between Yozo and Horiki is that Yozo knows that he cannot be qualified as a human being. He won't ever be qualified as a human being. Whereas Horiki, on the other hand, is completely chill about it. He's so free, so outgoing, and most of the time he is drunk. He is not a good influence on Yozo, and Yozo starts to slowly get addicted to alcohol. In the third and final notebook of this book comes the most interesting takes of Yozo's perspective on life. Yozo has created 2 games. One is about tragic and comic nouns, where he asks certain noun and then Horiki has to say whether it is a tragic or a comic noun. And it starts off normal and simple, but then he asks about what Horiki thinks about death, and Horiki says that that is a comic noun. So is life. So Yozo has this feeling that everything is comic. Then the other game, the second one, is about guessing the antonyms. The antonyms of different words that Yozo would be asking Horiki. A long story short, Yozo gets addicted to heroin in the end. He swallows a bunch of pills. He doesn't die, but he has grown to look so old. His hair is all gray, and the only thing that he understands from the human beings, and he says this was a kind of disgust too, or at least I might be a bit delusional, but I felt like there was some sort of disgust in that sentence. In the end, he says, "Now I have neither happiness nor unhappiness. Everything passes. That is the one and only thing I have thought resembled a truth in the society of human beings, where I have dwelt up to now as in a burning hell. Everything passes." If you ask me if this book ends completely in hopelessness and despair, I would say no, that's not the way the book ends, because in the end, the lady who came across these notebooks says that the Yozo we knew was so easygoing and amusing, and if only he hadn't drunk. No, even though he did drink, he was a good boy, an angel. So the woman in the book also at the end says that Yozo indeed was an angel. I don't know why she says that, because Yozo was a person who is afraid of the society, who has this high social anxiety, and his coping mechanism is completely humor. But I don't know why the lady in the end says like that. Maybe because Yozo was a character. Yozo was a people-pleasing person, that he would make up good jokes that would make even the adults laugh. Maybe because of that, she felt like he was a good person. Throughout the book, you cannot rely on this narrator in the way that half of the time he's drunk, other half time he's high on something else, or the rest of the time he's just saying about how horrible of a person he is. That does account for so much of insecurity about himself. So you need to pick that out if you have to understand why certain people think that he is this way. I might have ranted on a bit, but and I don't think there's any spoiler in the book, or that I have spoiled anything in the book. Now, would I be recommending this book to everyone out there? The answer is no. I don't think this book is for everyone. So if you do like to read about depression or hopelessness and despair, then yes, this book is amazing for that. But if you do like to read unsettling books, then definitely you should go for this one, because it is unsettling in many ways. It is a book that makes you think about your surroundings, about yourself, and I can see the reason why it is a masterpiece in Japanese literature, or the reason why it's called a classic in Japanese literature. Yeah, that's my rant on Osamu Dazai is no longer human. It's a book less than 200 pages, so if you did like my rant on the book, then I would definitely ask you to go and read it, because the book is better than my rant. So thank you so much for watching. I will catch you guys in the next video, and meanwhile, do not forget to subscribe and share the video if you did enjoy it. So yeah, thank you. Hello guys, welcome back to Book Read.
It's the Chris.
What did I say? Today I will be reviewing my first, it's not my first work, it's Dazai's last work. No Longer Human deals with the protagonists. No, what did I say before? The way Dazai explores Yobo's. Who the hell is Yobo? Would I be recommending this book? This book!